Alright everybody, in the last video we were talking about WWE FASTLANE 2015 coming up tomorrow, and I talked about the hopeful Sheamus return coming in and maybe interrupting into the Roman Reigns versus Daniel Bryan main event. Maybe that match is going to turn into some sort of a clusterfuck. I talked about this during my Dolph Ziggler, Eric Rowan, and Ryback versus Rollins, Kane, and Big Show match. That, it probably would have been better if you left that match off of the card and then left this for maybe Triple H and Stephanie butting their nose into the main event, trying to find out who is going to go on to WrestleMania, since the Authority seems to need to pick a winner of who they want to be the guy to face Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman have pretty much, separated away from the Authority, and since the Royal Rumble. They've been going in their own separate direction. The months before, Triple H's guy Seth Rollins was delivering curb stomps to Brock Lesnar, leaving him laying in Monday Night Raw, and Seth Rollins would take all the glory at the end of Monday Night Raw, as basically the show would come to darkness, and we would fade out, going to the SmackDown the next down the road. But Seth Rollins, and even though he's not in the title picture with the Money in the Bank briefcase this month, because Brock Lesnar looks like he's not appearing at Fastlane, is a big part of what's going down. I think Seth Rollins, deserves to butt his head into what is going down. When you look at what's going down, we've seen matches between Seth Rollins and Daniel Bryan really deliver. Of course, that we haven't seen them use this direction in a good little while. Seth Rollins definitely has a good deal of history with Roman Reigns, and they're a great faction of the Shield with Dean Ambrose. They have a whole lot of history behind there. As far as I can think of, we haven't been given the Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins singles match due to the hernia, which happened the weekend of. I think it was Night of Champions when that match was supposed to happen, but instead Dean Ambrose came back for making his movie, came out there and beat up Seth Rollins and made his return just a little bit early, and they just continued on with that storyline, even though that Dean Ambrose just weeks earlier had his brains splattered all over the outside of the ring due to the curb stomp onto the cinder blocks. Due to Corporate Kane and Seth Rollins doing this. But I'm thinking that more than likely this main event, to add a whole lot more sort of anticipation to see who's going to WrestleMania, needs to have Triple H, needs to have Stephanie, Seth Rollins, Corporate Kane, Big Show, all of those guys out there. Definitely Team Cena's friends, Ziggler, Rowan, and Ryback will come down and try and chase these guys off from what is going on. But now, once we see Seth Rollins into the main picture, especially being in the main event, is this finally where we get to see Roman Reigns come down? I apologize. Is this where we finally get to see Randy Orton come down and deliver that killer RKO that we've been waiting for months? I mean, it's been a long time. Honestly, I can easily say that the Randy Orton return is not as high on my list as it was maybe a month ago for the Royal Rumble. I was really wanting this and really hoping this as a Fastlane match, and now that it seems that, it is going to be on the WrestleMania stage, I would think that is definitely where they're going with this, is, of course, Randy hits that killer RKO that we've all been waiting for. He gets that big, huge response. Then they go on and deliver a huge, really good wrestling match at WrestleMania 31 is what we've been waiting for. Randy Orton has never been one of my favorite guys, but as of a month ago, it was almost like Big Show when he was, sort of feuding with Triple H. It seemed like Big Show was going to have the match, and he was going to lose to Randy Orton, and then he would go on and have a match against Triple H, maybe not in the Hell in the Cell, but at the Hell in the Cell pay-per-view, and I was really rooting for the Big Show. Probably one of the most times I've ever been behind this guy, but then it ended up being that the Survivor Series match with Randy Orton stunk so bad that Triple H was like, I don't want any part of the Big Show. I don't want this stinking up my stuff. He always makes sure that, the guys that he's going to be having matches with are on top-level talent, so that way, he's not really hurting his status, because we only get so many Triple H matches a year. But Randy's got to return sometime. We've all been looking for this ever since Survivor Series, when it was sort of rumored that Randy would come in and he would be a part of Team Cena, and that's when, he was wearing the baby blue shirts, and we would get this, babyface run. Then he had to finish up that movie. It was in Mexico, and then he had the surgery on his nose. We've been waiting for this for a long time. I think it's time to deliver Randy Orton returning to the WWE live. at Fastlane. That's my hopes.